Morning, everyone. How you doing today? Uh, you know, First off, just wow. Wow. 6.6 million new unemployment claims. Uh, as I said, I think yesterday and for a couple of weeks now, I expected today's number to be bad. I got to tell you, that exceeded my expectations. I was thinking more like 5 million, right? I figured it would be worse than last week, but wow, 6.6. That'll take your breath away. That brings the total for 2 weeks to 10 million. I am so reluctant to do this, but I'm going to call that the peak. I still think next week will be bad, but it won't be 6.6 million bad. God, I hope not. God, I hope not. But it could. It could. We've again essentially asked a third of our economy to stay home, and the economy is it hit a wall, right? So not a lot of shopping, not a lot of just not a lot of services going on. So I hopefully you can tell that that number is shocking. But again, on the other side of this, it's kind of why we have record. The best time to be unemployed ever, if there was a time, is now. You get your normal claims. You don't have to wait. You get extra cash, right? So we're doing the right things because again, we've asked them to stay home. So that's that's pretty bad. And again, I don't know about you, but I gotta put out some good news, right? So let's hope. I'm gonna call the under. The number next week is 6.6, which was today's number. And again, we're talking about next Thursday's new unemployment claims. I'm gonna take the under. Um, Again, we got to get to the bottom to get to the other side. So I'm gonna call today the peak. Fingers crossed. I'm not. Part of me thinks we may have one more bad week that beats this, but man, I hope not. So I'm gonna go out there and call that the peak, and then we can start going to the other way. Next up is oil. I can't believe oil was where it is. Saudis and Russians fighting it out, and we have no place to store it now. We talked about, I think it was a month ago now, where we should just buy their oil and store it. Well, good news, we did. Now we're just running out of oil. And that got to me thinking. So I've been under kind of house quarantine for about a month now here in the Bay Area. I think 3 weeks, probably 3 weeks. And I've driven my car once in 3 weeks. And, normally I would drive my car 3 times a day, right? Because we would just go different places. So the demand side of oil, gas, jet fuel is not there. So if they're not careful, right, they're not going to have enough place to put the oil. So that will eventually become a problem. I read a report that talked about 24 million barrels a day of overproduction. It's no wonder I've seen gas prices at 99 cents. And yeah, I don't ever remember seeing 99 cents. I'm sure it was there when I was younger and I just didn't pay attention. But wow, we have a demand problem. Next up, if there's any questions about flattening the curve and whether or not that works, I would ask you to look at the death tolls from Louisiana and California. Again, California was the first state, and Santa Clara County was the first county, it happens to be where I am, to kind of issue a stay-at-home directive. And just yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, Louisiana passed California for deaths related to this health event. And that's pretty telling, right? Because I was seeing pictures of Mardi Gras, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, where Bourbon Street was packed, right? Clearly not social distancing. And, I don't know what the population difference is, but it's safe to assume that the population of Louisiana is dwarfed by the population of California. So the fact that Louisiana passed California in death tolls should be a wake-up call. That yes, flattening the curve is important, and yeah, we just need to watch for that. Also, more and more companies are suspending guidance. That knew that was coming. Again, I don't think the Nasdaq has felt the adjustment just yet, but it's coming. I think tech is in trouble, but we'll see. It's going to be Q2 is just going to be messy, and we're day two of a 90-day quarter, so we've got 88 more to go. WeWork, I thought we were done talking about them, but it looks like WeWork is quickly on its way to insolvency and bankruptcy court. SoftBank backed out of their $3 billion lifeline. The founder, thank goodness, isn't going to get his $1 billion that he was expecting. I do expect WeWork to be bankrupt or be in bankruptcy court probably within the month. And it's back to what Sam Zell said, right? Sam Zell said this model, right? Lease by the foot, high price by the foot, and rent it by the inch. It's been tried for 50 years, doesn't work. And you know what? Sam Zell was right. So WeWork will be insolvent here very, very shortly. Again, that will impact office towers and the like because they've leased some big footprint in different cities and people aren't there. Did you hear this about China's Luckin coffee? Apparently, their COO, if you believe it, fabricated sales last year to the tune of $310 million, about 2.2 renminbi or whatever their currency is. And their stock plunged 80%. I know this is one company we in the US have suffered fools. I have suffered with Enron and WorldCom in the past. But who can believe numbers coming out of China, right? First off, I think there's a general knowledge that they're underreporting what was their impact from this event, right? Which is unfortunate because maybe other cities weren't ready given what they were saying, which is it's not good. And then you have a company that's publicly traded that is just flat out lying and fabricating sales. And you got to think about all the Chinese stocks that are listed. They had a lot of stocks go public, and you've got to discount them now. I mean, you have to, right? I mean, who can believe the numbers if this happens? Another thing is, if you're looking to do mortgage forbearance, be careful. There may be some adjustments coming down the pipe as we work our way from April 1st to May 1st, but it's not what most people think. It's not automatically taking the payment and taking the interest on the back end of the loan. Apparently, lots of people are being shocked when they call their lender. The lender says, okay, and then they get a statement. Let's just say, for example, that your payment was $1,000 a month. Most people that I've heard are getting 3 months forbearance pretty easy. But what they're then getting from the bank is, here's your month 4 statement, and they're asking for $4,000, right? So forbear month 1 at 1,000, month 2, month 3, month 4 comes, they want all of that made back up. And most people are shocked by that. And this debt is not being forgiven, rent is not being forgiven. So be careful and know what you're getting into. How am I adjusting? I'm being questioned about how I'm adjusting my ARV and fix and rent deals. I am being extra cheap today, is the only answer I could say. And put it in perspective, the last deal I closed kind of before this, I bought for 98. It had an ARV of 165, 170. I'm actually not adjusting my ARV. I'm going to keep it at 165 or 170 because I'm going to hold this through the summer. But what I'm doing is I'm treating my cash with a lot more attention. So I don't think I would buy that house today for anything over 75, right? I want to be paid to be one of the few people with cash. I want to maximize the return of my cash. So I'm not adjusting the ARV because I'm not going to sell it in this crisis. I'm just going to rent it out, right? It'll rent for 1,000 easy. The house that I picked up for 98 just 10 days ago, maybe 14 days ago, is already rented. It's not even repaired yet. So tenants are still out there. So I'm actually not adjusting my ARV at all, but I am adjusting my buy price, and I am being cheap to make sure I get a maximum use of my cash. Lastly, there's going to be a very quick discussion about too big to fail. Airlines, hotels, right? Do you save Hilton? Do you save Marriott? Do you save United, Delta, American, JetBlue, where we go? It is very clear that some of these industries are insolvent given what's going on. I do hope the government takes a interest in the common stock. I do not want a bailout, but I do see the government saying, you know what, these companies are too big to fail. I'm going to go into the public markets and buy the common stock. That would put a floor under the market for these stocks. And then, maybe there's an agreement that they don't sell for 5 years or something of that nature. I do not want bailouts. I do not want bailouts. I do not want bailouts. But I want these companies to survive because, some of them have to, right? The fact that there'd be no airlines after this would be unfortunate. And then lastly, a little bit of good news. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan Chase. I don't know if you knew this, but he had I guess I'll call it a heart procedure, an emergency heart procedure before all this started, and it came out of nowhere. It's one of those scary life events that happen. I just saw today in a quick news brief that he's back to work today. So Jamie Dimon, the little I know of the guy, what I've read is the best of the best. What I know him for the most is he made a personal call with his capital in 2008 and went out and bought millions of shares of his own stock, which turned out to be at or very near the bottom. It's that kind of faith that people have with their personal capital to call things like that. So, Jamie, welcome back. We need you. And I hope you feel better and you don't stress yourself out. You're still coming back from a pretty significant thing. So in the end, this is all about jobless claims for me. I'd love to hear from you. Do you think next week, right, if the number is 6.6 million new claims, do you have the over or the under? I'm going to stick with my call of 2 bad weeks, and this is the second week. So that would mean by my call next week is lower. Question about what I'm doing with my creative acquisitions or sellers. I'm looking for acquisitions first. I want to put together deals that I have unlimited holding period for. So if I have to hold to next year or the year after, so be it. So for me, it's all about acquisition mode, right? If I can go acquire hundreds of units in the next year or so with seller financing, very little down, but I can structure their payments back and I can just hold for a decade, great. So that's what I'm doing. I'm really focused on buying right now. Everybody's scared. Nobody can get loans. I want to buy. I'm a crisis investor. If you read my book, bought more units in 2010 than any other year. So yeah, I'm not getting confused. I'm not trying to work on both sides of the acquisition and sale process. Today, probably through the summer, it's all about acquisitions. If I happen to sell some because people reach out and they want it, great. But I'm trying to acquire, I'm trying to have multiple exit strategies, and making sure there's unlimited hold is step one. So very interesting. But back to the question of the day. Let me know what you think. Leave comments below. Do you got the over, which means you think next week we'll have more than 6.6 million claims, or do you have the under? And again, I'm on record with the under, but not convincingly. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. I actually have 3 interviews today that we're going to get out sometime later today. One at 7 a.m., one at 8, and one at 10. So have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.